bringing people together to share ideas, to debate them, and to actually subject them to intellectual scrutiny is fundamentally what our university should be doing. And it's a great opportunity as well for the university to engage the people of Manchester by bringing the best speakers into the university to show our experts off to great effect, and for the people to be able to scrutinise them.
Well, I'd say that people should stop necessarily going along with the kind of people who are presenting the issues and start considering where they would like to be living, the kind of Europe they'd like to be living in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, and begin to consider the issues in terms of what is the longer term impact of going along with those particular issues.
I wanted to talk about what it means to be a woman in the EU, what it means to be a young person in the EU, what it means if you are from any kind of marginalised communities such as LGBTI or disabled, or if you are a refugee, asylum seeker. And we know that women could sway this vote, so it's very important to talk about how Europe protects women's rights and how it's fighting to create a much fairer, more just and safe world for women.
In a Brexit scenario, the value of the pound is going to decline considerably, and this is going to have a major impact on national debt, in particular the cost of borrowing money to firms and industries, and mortgage repayments for the people, citizens in the UK. They have mortgage repayments. I mean, it is obviously a democratic process, but can put the economy into an unnecessary risk.
My presentation is about the effect that a possible Brexit would have on the inward investment in the UK. So the question is, should we really bother about it? Does it matter? Of course it matters. If you think comes to foreign investment, for once the UK is actually best in class, the second largest host country for foreign investment, and also one of the most popular country from the emerging countries like China and India to invest in the EU.
There's going to be all sorts of turmoil after the 23rd on the political landscape, and we will also have to take a deep breath and think very hard about the results, about how we remain relevant. You cannot repeal European EU directives and EU law. That's really scary. That's anti-democratic, and that means unless you leave the EU, you can't get rid of these laws. Your laws and your countries increasingly being run by unelectable, unaccountable people in Brussels, we think is not just undemocratic, it's anti-democratic.
There is no demos. Demos means people, and the whole of the European Union put together doesn't represent demos. I didn't know the name of that MEP who was addressing us so ably, because that's the nature of that kind of representation. We need somebody where we can take our grievances to. I think it's a very enjoyable debate which we'll look back on and find we've all learned a lot from.
I think it's about the future, and it's about the role that we play in the world, and it's also about how we want Britain to be, how we see Britain in the next 5-10 years.
I think it's absolutely critical to have events like this, because we all have to vote on whether we want the UK to remain in the EU or not. It's an incredibly important decision.
I think this European referendum is a massively important opportunity for all of us to think about the kind of country we want to live in. Are we connected to our neighbours in Europe, or do we want to effectively step off that and do something else?